Blue skies means fun days. Helping skydivers with tips and techniques about safety, training and fun jumping from those who know. Hi and welcome to Blue Skies Fun Days. Have you ever heard someone say something like, "He's pushing the envelope"? Ever wondered what that means or where that expression comes from? Well, this comes from every aircraft or flying device having what is called a flight envelope, which is a set of parameters that say it's safe to operate that particular flying device. Go outside of these parameters and you're risking structural failure. In this case, a 707 jet instructor was teaching Dutch roll recovery procedures and exceeded both bank angle limits and G loading limits, resulting in the engine separating from the wing pylon. Here, another commercial jet, this time with passengers, lost control, resulting in a near vertical dive. After recovering and landing safely, an inspection showed major damage to parts of the tail assembly. This was because they oversped the flight envelope. Parachutes are no different. They have a flight envelope in which they can safely operate. Go outside of that envelope and the parachute and yourself may be damaged. Here's a typical flight envelope for a fixed-wing aircraft. It shows, for a given weight, what the stalling speed will be and what the safe manoeuvring speeds are in both calm and rough air. It also shows when structural damage is likely to occur. From this table, we can also see that these numbers change depending on G loading. So how should we read these numbers or evaluate the parameters when it comes to the parachutes we use, where we are flying a weighted non-rigid wing? First off, we can forget about the negative load side of the table, as we need to have tension on the lines so as to place a payload on our wing, and then this allows it to glide. This means that when people are doing their barrel rolls, they have to maintain tension on their lines. So always endeavour to keep at least 1 G on your lines. If you try turning an unweighted canopy, you can induce line twists, and this can result in having to cut the canopy away. Another difference with ram air parachutes is that in turbulence or rough air is that we don't slow up the canopy as opposed to aircraft that have to slow up when encountering turbulence so they don't overstress the structure. With parachutes, we need the airspeed to keep the canopy inflated and pressurised. And in turbulent conditions, the more pressure inside the canopy, the less chance that it will deform or collapse due to the turbulence. And then there is the deployment envelope. Going too fast at deployment can destroy the canopy. And this brings us to the inspiration for this video. I was recently given a canopy to have a look at after a chop to see if I could repair it. The free flyer hadn't slowed down from his track when he deployed, and this resulted in the wingtips that are held down by the steering lines being shredded on both sides. As you can imagine, this jump ended up with a reserve ride. Exceed these limits and the result could be some or total structural failure. And in reality, it is all too easy for us to exceed these limits. Angle flying, free flying, speed jumps, all take us outside the maximum safe deployment speed for sport parachutes. We know parachutes want to open, as we can see here, and they will open quickly. But if the design parameters are not to be exceeded, we need to slow ourselves down to less than 150 miles an hour. I also want to just take a moment and say that if you have any questions on this subject, discuss them with experienced canopy pilots, instructors, or canopy coaches that you respect. In summary, 2 points. First one, always stay within the canopy's flight and deployment parameters. This means you need to slow down from your fun speed doing whatever you were doing to below 150 miles an hour before deploying your canopy. Secondly, keep the canopy pressurized and under load. Your canopy, body and wallet will really appreciate this. See you next time on Blue Skies Fun Days. For more tips and techniques, click subscribe.